Welcome back to What Arty Noobs with General Disturbance. This is a Lorraine 15550. It's the Tier 7 French SPG. It's located on the south spawn of Kharkov and it's under the command of Scrappey. Now this is the Arty with a 155mm gun based on the Lorraine 40-ton tank. So it's an Arty that never actually got manufactured or production lined because they only produced prototypes to see if they could actually develop it, and because the 40-ton tank was cancelled, the Arty was cancelled as well. Now it's quite a nippy little Arty, as you can see, 60 kilometers an hour forwards, 14 back, so it can zoom about the battlefield at high speed, and you'll see in the third replay how important that actually happens to be. So it's actually as fast as a medium tank, but it does have a hard-hitting 155mm gun. Well, Scrappy's parked the Arty in a bush, and he's looking to try and put a shell onto the enemy tanks that come up this corner. Unfortunately, from the position he's actually in at the moment, he can't get shots on that corner, so he's having to move a bit further over to the east, and then he's going to park up and try again. I think he's gone a little too far east this time to get shots on that spot, because there's another building in the way this time. In fact, actually, he's decided he's not going to fire in that direction, in the previous direction. He's actually now going to try and get shots on the enemy heavies that are actually in that alleyway. And in fact, actually, there are a few tanks in there, but from this position, he still can't get shots on them. Kind of unfortunate. Not unless he can thread a shell through that window to hit the box tank behind it. He might be able to do that. He's having a go. Nope, see, it hits the outside of the window. He wasn't fully dialed in, but it was a good thought. Now, what he can do is he can fire over to the west side of the map. He might be able to get a shot on an IS-3 that suddenly appeared in that main street. And I think he spotted that one as well. At least I hope he has. Instead, he's going to go for an AT-15A. He's waiting to dial in. Almost ready to go. Ready. Direct hit, 164. Nice start. Got a Carnarvon Action 10 there now. Now, what Scrappy doesn't realise is there's an IS-3 out in the open in the main street, or at least he's on the edge of that street, but instead he's going to go for this AT-15A again. Another direct hit. Now the reload time is about, if I remember correctly, somewhere around the 25-second mark, or slightly more. Oh, the IS-3's come this direction now, and the AT-15A is hiding around that corner, and that shell does nothing. The annoying thing is that there is now an IS and potentially another enemy tank over on the other side of this building complex, and he suddenly spotted that, but from his position he can't get a shot on the IS, but he might be able to get a shot on the tank that's sitting on that corner. At least it's not showing, so he fires around in blind. No joy. In fact, the enemy IS is actually a lot closer than he thought. And from this position, actually, he's in fairly bad danger of being spotted, because there's not many obstructions between him and that enemy tank. But thankfully, he's actually focusing so much, he is looking ahead of him and misses the fact that there's an Arty behind him, and he managed to get around into the back of the turret of the IS. Yeah, we can see the IS is still stunned. We've got an enemy Progetto making his way up the trench. Looks to me like he might appear any second. We can also see an SU-122-44 over on the far west side of the battlefield. He's lining up a shot. Rounds out. This looks good. Oh, just over the top of the SU-122-44. He changed course shortly after he fired, and just that tiny difference was enough to avoid getting hit. Now we've got a Progetto coming up out of the trench. From this angle again, the buildings are getting in the way. But he can just about fire around in there. But it looks like the SU-1, the Progetto is pulled back. But I'm pretty sure that SU-12244 is not. And yes, there he is. He's up on top of the hill now, looking down on our UDES 03. And he's after him. Now he's trying to line up ahead, dial in on target. He fires around in and only stuns the SU-12244, who finds the UDES and puts a big round into him. And, well, the UDES managed to kill the SU-12244, but he's now facing a Striv S1. And unfortunately, the Striv, which is the premium Swedish tank destroyer, is going in for the kill with a lot more hit points than the UDES. And the UDES takes a stand. Unfortunately, that shell missed altogether. And I think the Striv is about to get a ram kill. Yeah, he did. So it's not looking too good because there's only 4 tanks left on our team, 5 on the enemy, but they've got 2 Arty. So we've lost sight of the Striv. We don't know where the Progetto is. Oh, he's up the other end of the map. There he is. And now the enemy's lost the tank. But we then lose our Carnarvon Action 10 to their Progetto. So he fires around at where he thinks the Progetto is going to be. Oh, beautiful! Now, I think that was a game-saving shot because it took out the Progetto on low hit points. But that means now the enemy has only got that Striv S1 and 2 Arty, the S51 and the M44. The only problem is that both of those players are very good players. The Striv and the S1 are both blue players, so chances are they know how to use their vehicles very, very well. He's aiming for the Striv S1, fires the round in, and oh my god, he got a splash kill at range from one end of the map to the other end. You can see the border at the other end, and of course you know Scrappy's right up against the edge of the map at the south end. And that means now it's 3 versus 2. And remember that Striv S1 is somewhere in the middle making his way back. He'll probably get back in time and be able to defend that little hill because I think that's probably where he's going to be headed. We don't know where the other Arty is though, the M44 player. And as far as we can make out, he's an inexperienced player. Now, Scrappy was looking in the yard where a lot of Arty tend to go, round grid square A9 and A0. But they didn't see anyone in that yard, which kind of makes me think that if there is an Arty nearby, he's probably in A2 or A3. T26E4 went round the corner, pulled back. I think he's using his sixth sense to determine if he's been spotted. Well, the Jackson is taking a different route at the moment, and it looks to me like the Jackson is headed south. He's actually headed back to his own cap. Now you can get over the edge of the trench and use that little area around the middle of the map, the trench system, to try and he's gone down into the trench. That can be quite dangerous. If you jump down there at the wrong angle, you can flip yourself over and then you'll be beached. But the Jackson's got into the central area and he's now making his way around the centre. I think what he's trying to do is locate where the Striv S1 is. And the T26E4 is now capping. But the Striv S1 might be waiting for the T26E4 to get up enough cap points and then he'll reset him. Of course, he won't want the enemy, his other Arty, to fire at the cap because he'll steal all the cap points that he probably wants to capture to get his defender. Jackson's moving up on the position where he thinks the Striv will be, and he could be right. Oh, the Striv's near the cap! And unfortunately, the Arty gets the reset. And you can see Scrappy's dialing in on the strip, trying to get a shot on target. That looks good. Rounds out. Long flight time for the shell. Direct hit. 238 gives the Super Pershing a chance to take the Striv out. But remember, he's got a 105mm gun, that Striv. And I'm afraid the Pershing driver is not very good because he didn't angle himself well enough so he could deflect the shot from the Striv. Instead, he captured it and it killed him. And that means now the Jackson... Oh, there's the M44. And he fires around a blind shot at the Striv and he kills him. A blind shot kill on the Striv. And now the M44 has been located in that bush. Jackson's at the foot and there's the M44. Waiting for the reload to go in. I'm pretty sure the Jackson is trying to get the kill himself, but it'd be rather nice if Scrappy gets it. He fires his round right from the other end of the map. First shell misses. I think it probably splashed him. We just saw the M44 fire. I just saw the tracer coming out from that bush. He's reloading another one. He's got 13 more rounds of standard and 1 premium round. Yeah, this is the moment when you do load a premium round as well, because if you're going after one last enemy, load the premium to make sure you get a hit. He fires the round in, and this time round he gets the kill, which wins the game. And that is most definitely a counter battery. So that's the end of the first replay. Let's have a look at the second one. The second replay is on Studzianki. And this time round, it's Smooth932 of the Fat Clan. No, they're not overweight, that's just the name, FAT. Okay, he starts the game. And instead of actually knocking down the camp and the building there, instead he actually goes off into the trees. Now, I make a point of knocking the camp down there because I've seen too many games lost because somebody was able to cap behind the obstruction of the building and nobody was able to see them. In fact, it looks like somebody's firing at that building to try and knock it out. Okay, well, now Smooth is aiming towards the approach to the factory. And there's an EBR75 FL10, the wheelie, the premium wheelie, in the centre. Now, it's a bit difficult to take those guys out, but he actually just killed our Hotchkiss. He fires them around in, hoping to catch the guy. But actually, no, he didn't fire. He actually held onto the shell instead of shoot. And now he's got an IS and a T28 prototype in the centre by the factory. He fires around in at the IS and gets a direct hit for 326. Now, that was a well-timed shot. I thought he was actually going to shoot at that EBR, but he didn't. I thought if he had fired, he might have actually got a hit. He did line it up very well, but the action's all going down at the south, and we can see a defender's made it into the riverbed, trying to climb up the other side of the bank. Not the best place to do it, but he has made it up. And now he's hiding behind a building, which makes it very difficult for Smooth to hit him. And the question is, which side is he going to come round? Is he going to come round that side, the south side, or is he going to go round the north side? Well, the T43 might get a shot at him if he goes round that side. And I'm afraid Smooth is having a bit of difficulty trying to get an aim point on that, but he suddenly spotted there was an IKV-90B up to the north. We can see where his position was last seen on the mini-map. There he is. He's actually moved. He's pulling back. And, oh dear, no, I think he anticipated that IKV would continue moving back, and instead all he got was a bit of splash off it. Only 86 hit points to splash, but he did get a stun assist directly afterwards. Now looking to the south, now we can see the T20's joined the defender, but we do have a KV3 and the T43 the other side of the building, plus the T29 ready to put a shell into either of them if they poke the gap. So, oh, now another Chank has joined it, the T71. It looks like he went further south to try and poke up and make some shots. And I also think that the tanks that are there are actually taking fire from the north. It might be the IS-3 and the Lurva are firing on them because they're losing hit points. And there goes the T-71 with a splash kill. Smooth's decided to just change his position a little and suddenly stopped because he saw a Carnarvon Action 10 come into sight, but he's lost sight of him now. So he's going back down to the south. You can see the T-20 going up the riverbed. And that defender's taking pot shots. He just killed the T-29. And the enemy Arty's fired at our T-43, and we get around onto the defender. And the enemy T-29 is also poking around. That's a new one. We didn't see him turn up there. And now he's been joined by Lorraine 40 tons. So this enemy is making a concerted attack in the south. And the 40 ton pokes his head round the corner to put around into the KV-3. Our fellow Arties are actually firing in that direction. And I have the feeling that any second now... Yep, old Smooth got a direct hit. Oh my god, he just took out the 40 ton. And he killed the T-29 at the same time. So he got a bombardier. I think we want to see that one as an action replay, so we will run that again, because I think we all like to see an instant action replay. Let's have a look at that one again. He fires at the T-29. The Lorraine 40 ton's still there, and he gets both of them. So that was just bad mistake by the enemy, because both tanks poked the corner at exactly the wrong moment, and well, Smooth's shell smacked into them and both of them went out. And I remember my first bombardier was something very similar. I hit one tank and took out the one that was right next door to him at the same time. You never forget your bombardiers. They're so funny. Well, he's getting further and further north, but he stops suddenly to turn around and take aim at this AT-7. 25.14 seconds is the reload that he's got for this Lorraine 15550. Lines him up, fires the round in. A direct hit for 83. Now I think actually Smooth likes to look at his tanks almost like insects from a long way away. I think most of us would prefer to actually look a lot closer at the enemy. It's kind of like that. But Smooth likes to do it from almost like he's looking down on them as God. Oh, AT-7's gone. So instead he's re-aiming. I'm not sure if he can hit that T-28 prototype because he's in the shadow of that building. And he's been joined by his GW Panther teammate. The score is still 6-all, so there's no advantage at the moment. But the enemy has punched through in the south. The defender and the Carnarvon Action 10 on their team are coming towards our camp. And that's another good reason, as I said, to knock down that camp so that you can actually get clean shots on them and they can't hide from your shells. Smooth's decided he's going to get amongst the trees up on north of the railway line. He can't shoot the T-28, he's in shadow of the building, but the IS-3A should be able to take that guy out. And any second now should get him, but we're looking for the enemy. Now we can see there that they've left their building intact as well, but there was an enemy shell. I just saw the tracer from an enemy Arty. I don't know if you saw it, but we can run that back again so you can actually see the shell. Came from the woods slightly to the north of where he was aiming. You could see the tracer suddenly appear out of nowhere. Well, not out of nowhere, out of the tree line. He's looking at the back of the map. It looks slightly further north. And you'll see the tracer of an enemy Arty. There you go. Enemy Arty round on the way outbound. He's about near that little white bush. You can see a little further up. Down to the south we can see the defender. Smooth's dialing in on him. He's moving, so he has to line up ahead of his target. He fires the round in. The guy stops suddenly and only gets stunned. Ideally, I'd like to lay the shell directly in their path. And you can see there another shell from one of our teammates hit the wreck of the defender after he was killed. Now, GW Panther also took out their T25AT, and here's their Wizzy 131. Oh my god! That was a direct hit. I heard the thump as the round hit the hull, and he took out the enemy Wizzy 131. I think that might have been a penetrating shot. These shells are capable of 700 alpha, and they'll do 40mm of armor. And of course, the tank he just took out, the Wizzy 131, is a rather light or thinly armoured tank. Looking for that Carnarvon Action 10. Somewhere in that corner. The ISU 152 will spot for us, but again, he's hiding in the bushes. We're one tank down on the enemy now, so we're not doing so well. But that IKV-90B we saw earlier in the game, he's just the other side of the railway line, which is bad news for him because it means that Smooth can lay a shell down on top of him, fully dialed in, slightly off to one side. Shell misses. Oh, now somebody hit him. The GW Panther just wiped out the IKV-90B. Our shell may not have hit him, but the GW did. Looking for that Carnarvon. Can't see him there. No sign. Can't hit the prototype, T28 prototype. He did survive that encounter with the IS-3A, unfortunately. We lost the IS-3A. He's now trying to make his way through the factory along the railway line. Super Hellcat's trying to get away. I'm not sure we can hit him from here whilst he's trying to get at the Super Hellcat. Super Hellcat's gone around to try and get him from behind. And I think they're chasing each other around the building. And there goes the Super Hellcat T28 prototype. Got him. I don't think he's going to try and shoot between the buildings, or he might wait at that arch, but we really haven't got anyone spotting that T28 prototype at the moment, unless the ISU 152 sees him. And there's only 3 left on our team now, so it's now increasingly looking like we're going to lose this one. Mainly because we don't know where the Carnarvon Action 10 is. The T28 prototype is unspotted. And they've still got 3 Arty. ISU 152 staying south of the railway line, hoping he can spot the enemy as they appear. In fact, the GW Panthers suggesting that they should go towards the factory. I'm not so sure that's a very good idea at the moment, but the ISU 152 is doing it north of the railway line this time. He's gone over the other side of the railway line, headed towards the factory area to try and spot the T28. You can hear shells landing. There's the enemy Arty. And there's the T28 prototype. Smooth lines him up, fires one in, gets 165. Now he thought about making a dash, but the GW Panther got the kill, and he's now got 4 kills, that guy. And that evens it up a little bit, but remember they've still got the Carnarvon, they've still got 2 GW Panthers and 1 Lorraine 15550. I think the GW now wants the ISU to go south, and here comes the Carnarvon, and he's going to fire one right into the kisser at close range. Unfortunately, he's doing it in the aim mode rather than... Yes, he's gone to Battle Assistant, which is much easier. In fact, I come out of Battle Assistant altogether, but he's now aiming directly at the Carnarvon, hoping to get a shotgun kill, but he's still trying to do it in overhead. It's not that easy from overhead, especially from the distance that Smooth does it. Much easier to do it, come out of aim mode altogether, and try and look at the enemy tank directly in the face. One of the Arty is capping. He's got no shot until the Carnarvon mounts the embankment and goes up over the top to try and kill the ISU, at which point he might be able to hit him. Here he comes. Oh, he got him! He got the kill, so now he needs to motor as far south as he can, as quickly as he can. But instead he's actually staying where he is, just changed position, and he's waiting for the ISU 152 to find the enemy so he can shoot in and get the resets. Come on, ISU. Oh, that's interesting. The Lorraine 15550 was the one that was capping, and he's run away. And remember, I said this thing is fast, and it's fast enough to just get away from Smooth's shell there. He got winged, but he managed to get away in time. Well, this kind of makes this an interesting moment, because the Lorraine came back and has just shotgunned the ISU 152. He made a circuit and came back the other side to get in the side of the ISU 152, and now Smooth fired prematurely. He didn't get that shell on target, and now he's trying to weave whilst dodging the enemy Lorraine, who's coming straight towards him. He gets hit by the GW twice. He's lost most of his hit points, and the Lorraine takes the kill to end the game. Unfortunate that he didn't get an accurate shot on the Lorraine. He forgot that there's two other Arty engaged, and both of them were firing at him. And that's the end of the game. So this one was a loss. So let's have a look at the third battle. And the third replay in this series on the Lorraine 15550 is on Prokhorovka, North Spawn. And it's Bigger Stickers of REBRN. Yes, it's one of my replays. Now, I played this only a few days ago, so I decided to make this a 3 replay video. And you can see I've knocked down the camp just to make sure. Get some wood. Always get some wood at the start of a battle. Yeah, not in the biblical sense, but if you know what I mean. Anyway, knock down the camp and carry some of it with me. Now, fairly conventional in that I start the battle over in this corner. A lot of people do. A lot of people go to the bushes. I'm now ready to shoot. Remember, 155mm howitzer, 700 alpha. I fire around trying to get that Chiri, but all I do was stun him. I thought he was going to carry on, but he didn't. Okay, we can see a Super Chaffee. He's in the bowl, and he's engaging our guys. There's a Super Chaffee on our team engaging him, and unfortunately, the M44 and the enemy team just took out our Super Chaffee. So I'm following him at the moment. I'm reloading, hoping I'll get a shot on him. Lost sight of him. Where is he? There he is. He's doing circuits. Lead him. Yeah, you're not going to catch me out with a lead shot. And that one smacked him in the side for 239. Suddenly I saw that Super Hellcat, and unfortunately he managed to get a shot on one of our guys. So I'm just trying to work out where he's gone. And yeah, the Super Chaffee's back again. Yeah, not a smart move actually going around inside that bowl, although you are able to spot some of us. Yeah, you're still going to get hit. 14 hit points on second Super Chaffee goes in after him. And they kill the Super Chaffee, and then our one gets killed as well by the Jagdpanther. Now, at the time I didn't realise, but that Jagdpanther is quite a good player. Okay, we saw the Chiri briefly. And it looks like one of the other Arty, or one of the M44s hit him. Up on top of the hill, I've noticed a VK3002M. He's right on the rear end of the hill, you can see there. And we just saw a 40 TP. He's coming, he's gone into that dip halfway across the hill. So I fire around at him, but unfortunately, all it does is miss him. And I don't think it did any damage to him whatsoever. 24.19 seconds is the reload time I've got on this. I'm using premium consumables, which does speed up the reload, speed up the aiming Makes it a much better Arty. Now, I didn't realise at the time how exciting this replay was going to be. Almost too exciting towards the end. You'll see that in a while, but do stick around because, yes, it is quite a phenomenal end all round. Now, I can see that bush there is normally used for spotting. I fire a round in there and immediately pull back from view because I was concerned that the T40 TP would come to view, and he does. And so I fired a shell at an empty bush, and now I've got a VK3002M and a 40 TP. I'm just reloading, trying to dial in on their position, moving my aim, trying to get the shot on the right spot, firing at the 3002. Well, there's the 40 TP again. Still can't see him, but I'm staying with the hill for the moment because our guys are moving south on the west side. So I really need to support the hill. And suddenly we see the KV-2 come into sight. Now I'm dialing in as I'm reloading. I've marked the target, letting my teammates know, see if they can do some damage to him. I might be able to get a shot on him. He's moving. I can't see him, but I can see the effects of him because he just knocked down a fence. And I fired around in there, hoping I might be able to catch him. But I think he's behind the railway wagons now, so I can't get a shot on him anymore. Okay, we've got a Cromwell in the centre. Hiding behind that stone, that rock. Okay, I can probably splash him from here. He backs up and goes right into that wreck, and I thought, perfect, stay there. And he takes a big hit for 320. He's moving very slowly. I think he's badly damaged. I probably knocked out something like his driver because the shell did hit the front of him. I suddenly see the KV-2 over by the railway line. He gets taken out, so I don't need to worry about him. And over here we've got the VK3002M again, somewhere near that bush, that spot. And there's the 40 TP again. He stayed close to the edge of the map. Now it looks like the M44 is trying to hit him as well, but he's not indicating the target. So useful to indicate where the target is. Chi-Ri comes into sight and I'm almost loaded. He stops as if he's going to turn around and move away, and I line up a shot, rounds out. Yeah, right up his posterior, and he's out the game. Yeah, right into his engine bay. Unfortunately, the enemy's now pushing on the hill. And I've got an IS going in. He's going after our 40 TP, sets him alight. He burns up. There's just a Comet left now, facing two enemy tanks. The IS is attacking him, but the 40 TP is coming down off the hill. And if I remember correctly, that's a 90mm gun on the 40 TP. I fire a round in to try and help, but all I do is stun the IS at this distance. And I suddenly notice there's a Cromwell on there on an enemy team very close to us. And there goes our Comet, squeezed between two. The Cromwell on the enemy team taken out by our Super Hellcat. So I'm going to try and plant a round on the IS, fire a round in. It hits the wreck, not the enemy. You can see the enemy was moving towards the north because they knocked down a building as they were on the move. I'm still trying to work out where they are. With 3 tanks down on the enemy at the moment, it's looking pretty dire. In fact, it looks very much like we're going to lose this one. Can't be absolutely certain that we're going to win it. But we need to have some inventive play. And here comes the best player on the enemy team, the Jagdpanther. And he rams the Super Hellcat. I'm not fully dialed in, but I am now. And I take him out with a shot to his kisser. Right in the face. He's out the game. And at this moment I suddenly realise what, we're 3 tanks down the enemy, but we can do it if I take a bold move. The T25 on our T25-2 on our team is headed south into enemy territory, and I reckon that if the enemies were over on the other side of the map, and there's only one on this side, the Wizzy, he just got taken out by our M44. I reckon that I could get south quick. We know that 3 enemy tanks are over on that side of the map, and the 40 TP just took a pot shot at me and missed. He's going to have another go. I'm reloading. Yeah, he put a round into me. And he put an HE round in as well. And there goes the shot from... last shot from him. The T-25-2's taken out the GW Panther. That means there's now 5 enemies left. 3 in the north, as far as we can tell. 2 Arty down here. T-25-2 has managed to make it into the cap area. Started the cap. They're starting the cap at the other end. We've got no teammates left. They've killed both of our Arty up that end. So I get into the cap. At this point, the enemy M44 comes into sight. Now he's trying to get away. I'm lining up a shot on him. Lose sight of him. So I fire a snapshot in that direction, but get nothing. But I reckon he can't see where I am. And it looks like the enemy are trying no cap kill all. They're actually coming south to try and kill us. And their Arty tried a pot shot but failed. So the T-25-2 is waiting one side of the cap. I'm waiting the other. And I'm thinking that maybe one of the enemy will turn up from that direction. But we're only 10 seconds away from capping out. We're 2 in the cap. And here comes the enemy 40 TP, the guy who actually shot me, but he's left it too late. And I turn in his direction and fire a snapshot off. And even though he got a shot into the T-25-2, he could have hit me and wiped me out, but it was too late because we'd already capped out and won. So propelling your Arty does pay off in the end. And it was quite an exciting end to the battle because I was certain I was going to get shot in the move by those enemy tanks, but I managed to dodge them, use the speed of the Lorraine 15550 to get as far south as I could and help my team to cap out. Okay, well, this was the battle in the first game of the video. It was a third-class tanker for Scrappey. He got a bruiser medal and a fighter badge, and of course he got that counter battery because he took out all the enemy Arty on their team, the S51 and their M44. He also got that lovely shot on the Progetto, which I think was the game-winning shot, because when he took that guy out, that was their force done, really, basically. They did have the Striv, but the Striv got found, and he got taken out by the by their teammate, who was at the cap area at the time, and he was able to finish the Striv off. Or rather that hold him there, rather, so that Scrappey could finish him off. If we look at the team score for that one, Scrappey didn't get the highest damage in the game. He's further down the table. Only 1,222 hit points of damage. The highest scorer was the Carnarvon with 3,333, followed by the Progetto with 3,073. So you can see he was a good player. Unfortunate for him that he did get taken out. And when it came to kills, it was Scrappey. Well, actually, it wasn't Scrappey who did the best. It was the Striv S1 got the best. He got 5 kills. 4 kills went to Scrappey. 3 kills went to the Super Pershing, the Carnarvon, the UDIS 03, and the Progetto on the enemy team. And when it came to base XP, it was the Carnarvon who did the best with 1,196, the only one to get over 1,000. Super Pershing got 900 and Scrappey managed to get 726. Just one ahead of that UDIS, who got 725. Scrappey fired 15 rounds in that game, got 5 direct hits, no penetration, but 11 splash. Damage of 1,222 hit points, all of it at more than 300 meters. He earned 5,032 credits on a free-to-play account, and he earned 1,815 XP. So, not a bad earner, but good shots to get that counter battery, and of course that game-winning shot, as I say, which was taking out the Progetto. We look at the second battle results. That was Smooth 932 on Studzianki, and unfortunately, yes, they did lose the game, but he got that lovely bombardier taking out the Lorraine 40-ton and also the enemy was it the Carnarvon or the T29? It was the T29, that's right. He took out the T29 and the Lorraine 40-ton in the same shot. His win rate from that battle was 3,070. He got a third-class tanker, fighter badge, the bombardier, and of course a bruiser, but no other medals, I'm afraid. And yes, he did die because he got taken out by the Arty in the end. So very sad, but yes, it was a loss. When it came to damage, you can see that the highest damage was done by the IS-3A, got a high caliber for 3,625 hit points. The next high scorer being the T-28 prototype with 2,658. That was the guy who killed him, I think. Pretty sure. No, it wasn't actually. It was somebody else who killed him with a shot. But anyway, that doesn't matter. We can see that Smooth managed to get 2,048 hit points of damage, which puts him a little further down the table because there was 4 other players who were ahead of him, so it puts him 5th. But he still put up a good fight because he did get the highest number of kills with 5, and the next highest being the Carnarvon defender on the enemy team. Both got 3 kills each. And when it came to base XP, it was Carnarvon, the C-28 prototype, and the enemy GW Panther who managed to get 954. Those were the high scorers, and I'm afraid that in this case Smooth got the highest on his team for 609, but yes, I'm afraid it was a loss. The GW Panther on the enemy team got a Confederate, the T-28 prototype got a Cool-Headed. When it came to details, we see 15 rounds, got 6 direct hits, 1 penetration in that game, 13 splash, damage of 2,048 hit points, of which 1,915 were up more than 300 meters. I'm afraid he received 2 hits and 3 hits by way of splash damage, and I'm afraid, yes, he was taken out. He earned 12,415 credits from the game and 913 XP. So not a bad game in terms of action, but I'm afraid it did end up as a loss. And, well, he's got that very unconventional God mode when it comes to aiming at the enemy. I'd like to see him a little bit closer, especially when the shells hit them. So that was the end of that battle. Let's have a look at the end of battle results for my own one, as bigger stickers. Yep, I got a 2nd class tanker in that game. I bruised the medal for getting at least 5 critical hits, and I got a Stark's medal out of it. Yes, I got an epic medal because I took at least 2 shots from the enemy, lost 2/3 of my hit points, and I got 2 kills and survived the battle. And that was the conditions, the preconditions for a Stark's medal. My win rate wasn't that high, only 2,467, but we won the game because the T-25-2 and myself both noticed that the enemy had actually left themselves exposed because most of their tanks are in the north, and of course we were headed south and we could capture their cap. If they'd actually put 2 tanks in the cap at the same time, they might have been able to stop us. Possibly if they got one of the Artys in there as well. But they made a huge error. They thought no cap kill all, and they would be able to get south to get the reset, and they failed to do so. So let's have a look at the team score on that one. Can see that the highest damage in the game was that Yak Panther. Yeah, the one I hit with a shell right to his face. And he did 2,928 hit points of damage. And the next high score after that was myself with 1,636, and then I think the third one was the Comet with 1,562. The T-25-2 didn't do much damage, but he did have the foresight to see that getting south and getting into the enemy cap quickly would change the battle. When it came to kills, it was the M44 on the enemy team. He was very good, so was their GW Panther. 4 kills for the M44, 3 kills for the GW, and then 2 kills for the IS, myself, and the M44 on our team. Unfortunately, he died. There was only 2 left on our team at the end of that game. And the Yak Panther, he got a high caliber and Confederate in that game. If we look at the detail report, we can see I fired 16 rounds. Oh, did I actually cover the XP? No, I didn't actually. Go to the XP. Yes, I got the highest XP. 781 for me, 626 for the Comet, 626 for the Strip, and 615 for the M44. And also the T-25-2 also got 547 and survived. The highest score on the enemy team was their M44. Getting back to detail. 16 shots fired, 3 direct hits, no penetration, 12 splash, damage of 1,636 hit points, of which 1,379 were up more than 300 meters. So you can see I did get some close range shots, and specifically that was the shot that hit the Yak Panther. And when it came to credits, I earned 32,407 because I got the mission completion, the holiday ops, and a personal reserve as well. I got 25 bonds for completing a mission, and I also got a reward for completing the mission of 10,548 XP. So my total was 12,891 XP altogether. But that wasn't the only award I got in that battle, because you see, I got a kind of message. after the game. And you see this gentleman here, the Jagdpanther, the best player on the enemy team, the high scorer, the high caliber, and he got the Confederate and taken out by me with a shell right to his face. He was doing a lot of damage, but I actually got a message from him after the game. Let's have a look at the his actual name, because that was anonymized. His real name is Black Cloud Medic, and that's the player who sent me the message after the game. Fairly good rating, fairly good number of battles. Let's have a look at the message he sent me. He said, words cannot express how much I hate you and want to be you at the same time. He said, GG mate, earn the game. And I said, thank you very much, very kind. And just goes to show there are some players out there, even though they cannot stand Arty, they recognise when Arty makes a move which actually wins the game. And that game was one of those games where you propel yourself to the other end, help your teammates to cap out and win the game. And my shot on him was right in his face. It was smack on. He actually made it very easy for me because he just came straight towards me, and so there was no way I was going to miss that. But I was very appreciative that he sent that very nice message to me, and he said it in such a nice way. This was a game on the NA server. I think there are some people on the NA server are a lot more polite than on the EU server, and I very much appreciate Black Cloud Medic sending me this this message after the game, because it said, yeah, you did do something right, and you got the battle. So thank you very much indeed to Black Cloud Medic. Very much appreciate your gesture, and thank you very much for making me feel that yes, I did do something right for a change. So that's the end of the replays. 3 replays with the Lorraine 155mm50. If you enjoyed these replays, please give this video a like. Do subscribe to our channel. Leave a comment down below because it feeds the algorithm.
You can do it. Feed me, see more.
And thank you for watching.